The rain hammered against the windows of the FBI field office in Chicago as Agent Sarah Martinez stared at the case files scattered across her desk. 3 months had passed since the first mysterious death, and the pattern was becoming impossible to ignore. Each victim received the same chilling phone call moments before their death, a whispered voice saying, "Target locked," followed by complete silence. Sarah rubbed her tired eyes and picked up the first file. Dr. Michael Chun, a renowned heart surgeon at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. He had been working late in his office when his secretary heard him answer his phone. Security cameras showed him suddenly clutching his chest and collapsing. The autopsy revealed a massive heart attack, but Dr. Chun was only 35 years old with no history of heart disease. The second victim was Jennifer Walsh, a federal prosecutor known for taking down organized crime families. She had been jogging in Lincoln Park when her fitness tracker recorded an unusual spike in her heart rate. Witnesses found her collapsed on the jogging path 20 minutes later. Again, a heart attack in someone with perfect health. The third case sent chills down Sarah's spine. Detective Marcus Johnson from the Chicago Police Department had been investigating the first 2 deaths when he became the third victim. His partner heard him answer his phone in their patrol car, then watched helplessly as Marcus suddenly went into cardiac arrest. The paramedics couldn't save him. Sarah's phone buzzed with a text message from her partner, Agent Tom Bradley. "New victim. St. Mary's Hospital. Get here now." The drive through the stormy Chicago streets felt endless. Sarah's mind raced with questions that had no answers. How could someone cause heart attacks through a phone call? Was it some kind of new technology? A biological weapon? Or something even more sinister? At the hospital, she found Tom talking to Dr. Elizabeth Harper, the chief cardiologist. Dr. Harper looked shaken as she explained what happened to the latest victim. Robert Martinez came into the emergency room complaining of chest pains. We were running tests when his phone rang. He answered it, and within seconds, he was in full cardiac arrest. We tried everything, but we couldn't save him. Sarah felt her blood run cold when she heard the victim's last name. "Did you say Martinez?" "Yes, Robert Martinez. He's a newspaper reporter who's been writing about the recent string of mysterious deaths in the city." Tom placed a reassuring hand on Sarah's shoulder. "It's just a coincidence, Sarah. Martinez is a common name." But Sarah knew it wasn't a coincidence. Someone was targeting people who were getting too close to the truth. And now they were sending her a personal message by killing someone who shared her last name. Dr. Harper continued her explanation. "The strangest thing is that all the victims show the same unusual pattern in their heart rhythm before the attack. It's like something is triggering a specific response in their nervous system." Sarah studied the medical charts that Dr. Harper showed her. The heart rhythm patterns were identical in all 4 victims, a sudden, dramatic change that led to immediate cardiac arrest. It was too precise to be natural. "Doctor, have you ever seen anything like this before?" "Never. In 30 years of cardiology, I've never encountered anything that could cause such a specific and immediate response. It's almost like someone found a way to hack into the human heart." As I left the hospital, Tom voiced what they were both thinking. "We're dealing with something beyond normal investigative methods. Sarah, this isn't just murder. It's assassination using technology we don't understand." Sarah's phone rang, and she hesitated before answering. The caller ID showed an unknown number. Her heart pounded as she pressed the accept button. "Agent Martinez?" The voice was distorted, clearly being run through some kind of voice changer. "Who is this?" "Someone who wants to help you stop the angel of death before more people die." "What do you know about these murders?" "I know that the killer is using a technology that was developed in secret military research programs. The victims aren't random. They're all connected to a cover-up that goes back 20 years. Sarah signaled for Tom to start tracing the call. "What kind of cover-up?" "Project Silent Heart. It was a Black Ops program designed to eliminate targets without leaving evidence of murder. The program was supposedly shut down, but someone has perfected the technology." "How do I know you're telling the truth?" "Because Agent Martinez, you're next on the list. The Angel of Death doesn't like federal agents who ask too many questions. The line went dead, leaving Sarah staring at her phone with a mixture of fear and determination. Tom confirmed that the call couldn't be traced. Whoever contacted her was using sophisticated technology to hide their location. Back at the field office, Sarah pulled up classified databases to search for any reference to Project Silent Heart. Most of the files were heavily redacted, but she found enough information to confirm that such a program had existed. The project involved research into using specific sound frequencies to trigger fatal heart arrhythmias in targeted individuals. The official records showed that Project Silent Heart was terminated in 2003 after ethical concerns were raised about the research. All equipment was supposedly destroyed, and the research team was disbanded. But someone had clearly continued the work in secret. Sarah's investigation led her to Dr. Amanda Foster, one of the original researchers on Project Silent Heart. Dr. Foster now worked as a private consultant, but her background in acoustic neuroscience made her a valuable resource. When Sarah contacted Dr. Foster, the woman's voice was filled with fear. "I've been expecting this call ever since I heard about the Chicago deaths. I knew someone would eventually connect them to our old research. Dr. Foster, I need to understand how this technology works. The human heart is controlled by electrical impulses from the nervous system. We discovered that certain sound frequencies, when transmitted through a phone call, could disrupt those impulses and trigger fatal arrhythmias. The technology was designed to be undetectable and untraceable. Why did the project get shut down? Because we realized we had created the perfect assassination weapon. No physical evidence, no trace of poison, no fingerprints. Just a phone call that could kill anyone, anywhere in the world." Dr. Foster agreed to meet with Sarah the next day to provide more details about the technology and how it might be stopped. But as Sarah hung up the phone, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. The storm outside intensified, and the FBI office felt unusually quiet for a Friday evening. Sarah decided to stay late to review the case files one more time, hoping to find a connection she had missed. As she worked alone in her office, her desk phone rang. The caller ID showed an internal extension from elsewhere in the building. Sarah answered without thinking. "Agent Martinez, this is security. We have a situation in the parking garage. Can you come down immediately?" Something in the guard's voice didn't sound right. Sarah had worked with building security for 3 years, but she didn't recognize this voice. "Which security officer am I speaking with?" "Officer Johnson. There's been a break-in near your vehicle." Sarah knew there was no Officer Johnson on the night security team. Her heart began to race as she realized this might be a trap. She hung up the phone and immediately called the real security desk. "This is Agent Martinez. Is there a problem in the parking garage?" "No, ma'am. Everything is quiet down here. No incidents reported tonight." Sarah's blood turned to ice. Someone had used the building's internal phone system to try to lure her away from her office. The angel of death was already inside the FBI building, and she was the next target. Sarah's hands trembled as she drew her service weapon and moved toward her office door. The hallway outside was eerily quiet, with only the emergency lighting casting long shadows on the walls. She pressed her back against the door frame and listened carefully for any sound of movement. Her training kicked in as she assessed the situation. Whoever was in the building had sophisticated knowledge of FBI security protocols and access to internal phone systems. This wasn't a random killer. This was someone with inside information and advanced technical skills. Sarah's phone buzzed with a text message. The number was blocked, but the message was clear. "Come to the roof alone, or your partner dies tonight." Her blood ran cold. Tom had left hours ago to have dinner with his family. Sarah immediately called his cell phone, but it went straight to voicemail. She tried his home number, and Tom's wife answered on the first ring. "Hi, Linda, is Tom there?" "Oh, Sarah, he got called back to the office about an hour ago. He said there was an emergency with your case." Sarah felt her world spinning. Tom never got called back to the office. Someone had lured him away from his family, and now both their lives were in danger. Another text message appeared on her phone. "Roof. 5 minutes. Come alone, or Agent Bradley becomes victim number 5. Sarah had no choice. She couldn't call for backup without risking Tom's life, and she couldn't ignore the threat. She moved through the empty FBI building like a shadow, using her knowledge of the security cameras to avoid being detected. The stairwell to the roof was pitch black, forcing Sarah to use her phone's flashlight to navigate the concrete steps. Each footstep echoed in the narrow space, making her feel exposed and vulnerable. The roof door was slightly open, and cold rain immediately soaked through her clothes as she stepped outside. The Chicago skyline stretched out before her, but Sarah's attention was focused on the figure standing near the edge of the building. It was Tom, but something was wrong. He stood perfectly still, his hands at his sides, staring straight ahead like he was in a trance. A small device was attached to his ear, and thin wires ran down to a black box clipped to his belt. "Tom," Sarah called out, but he didn't respond. He didn't even blink. "Agent Martinez, how nice of you to join us." The voice came from behind her, and Sarah spun around to see a man emerging from the shadows near the roof access door. He was tall and thin, wearing a black raincoat, and his face was partially hidden by the darkness. "Let my partner go. Your fight is with me." The man smiled, revealing perfectly white teeth that seemed to glow in the dim light. "I'm afraid it's not that simple. You see, Agent Bradley has become part of my demonstration. The device attached to his ear is the same technology that killed Dr. Chun, Ms. Walsh, Detective Johnson, and Robert Martinez." Sarah kept her weapon trained on the man while moving slowly toward Tom. "What do you want?" "I want you to understand the power of what you're investigating. Project Silent Heart was just the beginning. I perfected the technology beyond anything those government researchers ever imagined. You're the Angel of Death. A dramatic name, but accurate. I can kill anyone, anywhere, with nothing more than a phone call or a small transmitter device. No poison, no weapons, no physical contact. Just pure science applied to the human heart." Sarah could see Tom more clearly now. His eyes were open but vacant, and his breathing was shallow and mechanical. Whatever was being transmitted through the device was controlling his nervous system. "The frequency I'm currently using on your partner is keeping him in a hypnotic state," the man explained. "But with a simple adjustment to the signal, I can trigger a massive heart attack that will kill him instantly. What do you want from me?" "I want you to stop your investigation. Delete all the case files. Forget you ever heard of Project Silent Heart. In exchange, I'll let Agent Bradley live." Sarah kept her weapon steady, but her mind was racing. This man had already demonstrated his ability to kill without leaving evidence. Even if she shot him right now, Tom might still die if the device was programmed to activate upon the killer's death. "How do I know you'll keep your word?" "You don't. But you have no choice. I've spent 15 years perfecting this technology, and I won't let some federal agent destroy my work." Rain continued to fall, making the roof slippery and dangerous. Sarah realized that her position near the edge of the building put her at a tactical disadvantage. She began moving in a wide circle, trying to get between the killer and the roof access door. "Tell me about the victims. Why did you choose them?" The man seemed to enjoy talking about his work. Dr. Chun was getting too close to understanding the technology after he performed autopsies on some early test subjects. Ms. Walsh was prosecuting a case that would have exposed my funding sources. Detective Johnson was investigating connections between the deaths. And Robert Martinez was about to publish an article that would have revealed too much. "So you're not just a killer. You're protecting something bigger." "I'm protecting the future, Agent Martinez. This technology represents the next evolution in warfare and intelligence operations. Imagine being able to eliminate any enemy of the state with a simple phone call. No international incidents, no diplomatic complications, just clean, untraceable elimination of threats." Sarah finally understood the scope of what she was dealing with. This wasn't just about a serial killer using advanced technology. This was about someone who believed he was serving a greater purpose by perfecting an assassination method that could reshape global politics. Who's funding your research? The man's smile faded. That's classified information that died with the victims who got too close to the truth. Sarah noticed that the device on Tom's ear was blinking faster now. Whatever signal it was transmitting was increasing in intensity. She had to act quickly before the killer decided to end the demonstration permanently. I need proof that you can actually reverse the process. Turn off the device and let Tom speak for himself. I'm afraid that's not possible. The current frequency is the only thing keeping his heart rhythm stable. If I turn it off suddenly, the shock to his system could be fatal. Sarah realized she was trapped. The killer had designed the perfect hostage situation. Any aggressive action on her part could result in Tom's death, but surrendering would just make her the next victim. How did you get access to FBI security systems? Let's just say I have friends in useful places. Friends who share my vision of how this technology should be used. That revelation sent chills down Sarah's spine. The killer wasn't working alone. He had accomplices within law enforcement or intelligence agencies who were providing him with information and access. Her phone rang, and the killer gestured for her to answer it. The caller ID showed Tom's number, but Sarah knew it wasn't really him calling. Answer it, Agent Martinez. Let's see how well my technology works when you're the target. Sarah stared at the phone, knowing that answering could be signing her own death warrant. But she also knew that this might be her only chance to understand how the technology worked and find a way to stop it. The phone kept ringing, and the killer's smile grew wider. Tick-tock, Agent Martinez. Your partner's heart can only handle the stress frequency for so long before it gives out. Sarah looked at Tom one more time and saw that his face was becoming pale and his breathing was getting more labored. Whatever the device was doing to him was taking a serious toll on his body. She had to make a choice. Answer the phone and risk becoming the fifth victim, or refuse and watch her partner die. Either way, the angel of death would win. The rain intensified, and lightning illuminated the Chicago skyline in brief, dramatic flashes. In those moments of brightness, Sarah could see the killer's face clearly for the first time. He looked familiar, but she couldn't place where she had seen him before. As the phone continued to ring, Sarah realized that everything depended on the next few seconds. The fate of her partner, the success of her investigation, and possibly the lives of countless future victims all hung in the balance. The killer raised his hand to show a small remote control device. Last chance, Agent Martinez. Answer the phone, or I press this button, and Agent Bradley's heart stops forever. Sarah made her decision in a split second. Instead of answering the phone, she dove to the side and rolled behind a rooftop ventilation unit. The killer pressed his remote control, and she heard Tom gasp and stumble, but he didn't collapse. Interesting, the killer called out. It seems Agent Bradley has a stronger heart than I calculated. But that just means he has a few more minutes of suffering before the inevitable. From her cover behind the ventilation unit, Sarah could see that Tom was now conscious but disoriented. The device was still attached to his ear, but whatever signal it was transmitting had changed. He was fighting against its effects, trying to remove the device with shaking hands. Sarah's phone stopped ringing, but immediately started again. The killer was persistent, and she knew he wouldn't give up until she answered. She needed a new strategy. You made a mistake,